Alright, so we're going to be flowcharting the Fabozon part 2. That's where certain zip codes provided us with certain markups, depending on where a person ordered it from. So we started out with the bottom, final price and markup. We figured out this is the math we needed, but in order to do that math, we needed one more thing, and that was the markup price. The markup price was based upon two separate things. It was based upon the zip code in which a person was located and also the amount of the order. But we didn't want to go ahead and nest in each one of our zip codes this figuring out which one they wanted to use. So the most efficient way to do it is to say that I'm going to take these 9 numbers that I have here. These are the nine different markups that are possible. And the first thing I'm going to do is narrow them down to 3. Once I get them down to 3, then I'll use this logic to determine which of those 3 is going to be the actual markup. It might seem kind of inefficient to put these values into these before going down to the bottom, but certainly better than having this if else inside each one of these nesting. Just not as efficient that way. Alright, so once we came up with that, then we came up with the human algorithm, and now we're ready to go ahead and do the flowchart. So what I'm going to do is start out, because it's going to take me forever otherwise. Alright, so this is our flowchart right here. Let me move this off a little bit. Okay, so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, I'm not sure I can keep it all on everyone together, but there's a part of it anyway. Alright, so what I've done is I've put in all my assumptions. I've put in my input that I need, which is the item cost. Now I'm also going to input the zip code, but I haven't added that yet. I'm also going to, I have this input here called markup rate, and the reason for that is what I wanted to do is put all my assumptions, put my input in, put in all my math and all my output, and then test it to see if it's going to work. Now, it only works if I have this markup rate already in there, so I'm just going to input it in, and then I can test it. And I can say, well, the original order was 100, and the markup is going to be, say, 5 times that. And we see that the item cost is 100, so the markup is going to be 500, and 500 plus 100 is 600. So we can see that, well, all the math, all the outputs, all the inputs work. I just have this screwy one right here, which isn't required. So now I'm going to get rid of that, because really what I need to do is I need to ask a person what their zip code is. So I'm going to copy zip code, and I'm going to change this to zip code. And I'm going to add something into the more section. So I'm going to say which zip 10104 10112 10. I have that twice. All right, and then let's see what the other one is. 33109. Because those are the 3 zip codes that we will take orders from. And then I'll put that in quotes, of course. And maybe put the word "or" here. Alright, so we can see I'm going to ask which zip, and I'm going to ask if there's going to be any of those. Alright, because those are the only, it's kind of a screwy question, but it's just a way for us to be able to do the logic. But the only place we're taking orders from are these 3 zip codes. If somebody wants to order it and it's not from one of these zip codes, they can go someplace else. They can go to Amazon instead of Fabozon. Fabozon is exclusive to only these zip codes. Alright. Oops. And I didn't save it. Alright, so this is going to be zip code. Alright, so now I have everything that I need. So now let's go ahead, I'm going to go back into here again. And here's our human algorithm. So now we're down to this part right here. So I could go ahead and code all this and put that in a flowchart, but that's really foolish. So instead, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the build and test methodology. And that's why I put the final math and the output here. So I can say, okay, once I take in these two pieces of information, then I'm going to do a decision, and that decision is going to be this. And I'm going to click OK. And if that's true, then I'm going to do this. Well, that wasn't right. Let's see. All right, so this goes here, and this goes here. All right, okay, one is done. And then I'm going to do two more. So I'm going to assign this and assign this. Okay, so the next one is going to be my next, which is going to be my medium zip code. I'll copy that, paste it in, cut this. This may seem longer, but I think it's faster than going back and forth. Okay, and then I'll go into my high. Sorry about the music. If I click too many times, it chimes. Alright, then I'm going to cut this out. I'm using Control V to cut it, Control X to cut it out. And get rid of the equal sign. So now I have, if it's this, then it's going to go down here. And I can see that 1010 is either going to be 3, 4, or 5 for the markup. Alright, so the problem is that I cannot test this yet unless I'm just going to test this to make sure that that markup goes in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add my second set of decisions, which is down here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say after this, what I want to do is another decision, and this decision is based upon item cost equals greater than the high cost. Okay, and then if that's true, then I'm going to do another assignment. And that assignment is going to be take the high markup and put it into the markup rate. Alright, so it seems like I'm building an awful lot before testing, but what I want to do is I want to say the item cost. So the item cost is for the high, and that's $10,000, I think. Yeah, high cutoff is 10,000. So I'll make this a 20,000 and zip code 10 world, and then I'll come down here and see if it picks up this markup high and then comes down here and awards that here. So I'm going to test both of these at the same time, making sure that I do the right thing. So it has to be greater than 10,000. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is say 10104. And then the next thing I'm going to do, oh no, I did it backwards. Alright, let's start this again. I should read the question, shouldn't I? Alright, so the cost of the item is going to be, let's see, let's do 20, 1, 2, 3, 20,000. So that's over 10,000. And then the zip code is 10104. And you can see it's 20,000 is starting. 5 times 20,000, 100,000, so it should be 120,000. Sure enough, it's working. So I can see that that works. So now I have to do the next one. So I'm not going to build this next side. I'm going to start this side and make sure that each one of these comes through here. Then I don't have to test it anymore. So if it's not true, that it's greater than 5,000, then I have to do something else. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy these two things, and I'm going to paste it right here. Then I'm going to go back into my decision and say, okay, well, now I'm going to see if item cost is same as low. Alright, so we're going to do this instead. And if that's true, copying it means I'm still going to use markup rate, so I don't have to copy anything but markup low. There we go. And now I can go ahead and test it again. I'll come down here, I'll get the low, I'll come over here, it'll go down this way, and then down that way. So the low markup is going to be 3. And the cutoff is 1,000. So we'll do $100. So initial is $100. It is 10104. That's $100. And so times 3 is 300, so the final is 400. So we can see that's working. And you might think, well, that's slow doing it this way, but it's really, this is the fastest way, because as soon as I have an error, as soon as something comes up 0, I know exactly where that error occurred. So now, if it's not either of these, then we have to do the other side. So I'll just go ahead and copy this, and paste it over here, and then come and get that final one, which is the mid markup, or the medium markup, and place it into here. Alright, so the medium markup is 4, so I'll test it again. So it has to be greater than, what was it? I can't remember now, I can't remember the markups. 1,000. Alright, so let's make this 2,000. Yeah. So greater than 1,000. So 2,000 and 10104. This is 4 times. So it's 2,000, 8,000, 10,000. So we know that this structure down here works completely, and the 10104 works. Excellent. So now, pretty easy. I'm going to do the copy and paste again. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here. Actually, this is almost 13 minutes. I'm going to have to stop here.